The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is... Please note, the new number is...
Ayo Josh, let me get a little bit of reverb. Yeah, J Will. Yeah, I'm about that lifestyle. I talk green work, repping it all over. It's right on the t-shirt. Fan for a lifetime. Yeah, that's a long pass. Figure I would show some love right on the podcast. Turn this up loud and make sure you don't do nothing else. Cause if you're listening to us, then you're improving your health. My name is J Will. Welcome to the show, yeah. Wrestle, flow, yeah.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Wrestling Reverb. I am Josh. Kevin is here as well. We are in the midst of heading, well, we're not heading to Chicago, but, you know, figuratively speaking, we're heading to Chicago for Survivor Series weekend. We got a big weekend of wrestling coming up. I would like to say that for the majority of things, I've seen people quite excited for this weekend. Are you keen to get to War Games and Survivor Series?
Yeah, I think that the build has been fantastic. I think that the chaos of it all has been terrific. I'm really looking forward to both shows. I think NXT in particular has done a good job of dividing its storytelling time between the War Games and Survivor Series. That's a really tough ask for them since they have to do two shows this weekend. But I think they've handled it beautifully, and I think as a result, I'm ready for both shows, and I think this is going to be one hell of a weekend.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It's not easy to build towards two big events with the same people, essentially. So they've done a good job in doing that, and it's been a lot of fun these last few weeks. It's like, oh, we've only got one more episode of television before the weekend, and, you know, it's like, oh, this has been fun with all this crossover between the three, I should say. So, you know, post-Survivor Series, we won't be getting that. So it's been fun. I've enjoyed the last few weeks of TV, to be completely honest, with everything that's been going on. This last episode of NXT, we're recording this on a Thursday American time. So, you know, this last episode of NXT was fantastic. What an episode to watch. It was a lot of fun. I like the kind of, I wouldn't call them like, in a sense, dream matches, I guess you would. But, you know, to see Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley tear it up is pretty cool, because you wouldn't see that on a regular basis on any other platform. So it's cool to see that kind of stuff, and we're just getting a lot of good wrestling, which is really good. So we'll talk about War Games and Survivor Series in a second. Hey, we were just talking about this before, but it is pretty annoying to go on Twitter today because people are like, this person won, this person didn't, this person finally won, this person didn't, they won in the demos, they didn't, blah, 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 blah. Me and Kevin both come to a consensus. Why does it fucking matter anyway? And why does it matter how or why? Like, we're getting two very good wrestling shows. Isn't that what we wanted from all of this? So I don't understand. There's going to be weeks where AEW, quote-unquote, win, and there's going to be weeks where NXT, quote-unquote, win. So I don't, if we're getting good wrestling, it really doesn't matter how, why, who's on the television product, you know, it really doesn't matter. But Twitter can be a pretty, big pain in the ass when it comes to, they use main roster stars, or they haven't won the last 7 weeks, so why does it matter? Like, oh my God, why does it matter? Why does it matter?
It's just stupid because, like, yeah, like you said, people are talking about cheating, and there's no cheating when you're in a people want competition, and then when NXT does something to win said competition, suddenly it's like, oh, they cheated. It's ridiculous. It's Survivor Series, and they're doing a show with NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, and NXT's been invading Raw and SmackDown for weeks. It only makes sense for SmackDown and Raw to head to NXT and return the favor, but for some reason that's not clicking for everybody.
I don't understand it either. Like, literally, everyone's been wanting better wrestling, and AEW, Dynamite, and NXT is consistently great wrestling. a great wrestling television product on both sides of the fence here. So I don't get it either. I just don't understand. When people talk about cheating and stuff like that, it's like, excuse me, how? Like, they're all under the WWE umbrella, and they're building towards Survivor Series in a few days, where it's brand warfare. Why wouldn't those people be on NXT? NXT have been on Raw and SmackDown. It's just how the story's been going. Why wouldn't they be on NXT? And it's like, oh my god, it took that for them to win. It's like, well, it's very good, so it should be. People should be tuning into that. It's been very good. NXT this week was one of the best episodes of NXT I think I've ever watched. It was very, very good. So, and it's a go-home show to a pay-per-view. There should be more eyes on that product. You'd want to hope, NXT would want to hope that they get more eyes on their show 5 days before a show, 4 days before a show, whatever it is. You would want to hope that you would be getting a lot more people, but I don't know why people are like, oh, NXT 1 or AW 1. The margin is like very small. It's just the amount of people that be watching wrestling on a Monday night, for example, is just divided into two groups instead of one. So I really don't understand. It's not like NXT or AEW are beating them by millions and millions of people. No, it's not that at all. It's a few, thousands at this point. It's just very annoying. I put out a tweet that, like, those capitalized, uncapitalized tweets, like, just mocking people that say, oh my god, it took them, the main roster stars, to beat them. I put out that tweet, and the amount of people that got on my tweet just before, just to defend AEW, was crazy to me. I'm just like, I was making a joke, because this place is so toxic.
You can't make jokes about AEW, dude. You can't. The defenders come out of the woodwork. And I'm not saying it doesn't happen for NXT too, because NXT has its defenders, and some of them are just as insufferable.
Oh, yeah.
My God, like, I feel like I'm not trying to be biased towards NXT, even though I feel like I'm more of an NXT guy. I think the AEW side has been worse. I think I've seen more people, at least more prolificness, if that's a word, on the AEW side as opposed. Whereas NXT, I don't see as many like, oh, NXT only loses because of this or that. It's always like, oh, AEW is winning and NXT sucks.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There is obviously both bad on both sides, but I do agree with you. It's because NXT and WWE is not the cool thing to like. So therefore, pros comes with cons. Everything good comes with something bad, and the coolness to AEW brings a lot of the people that will just, no matter what they do, everything is perfect. And, whatever else they're doing on this side is shit. It's terrible. So it's obviously bad on both sides, but I do agree with you. It's just very much, you can't say anything bad about AEW on the internet, because you will get, obviously not the people we're dealing with. We can all have civil conversations, but, like, there was the tweet I had before, they said something like, it was, I'm going to paraphrase because I'll get it wrong, but I put it on that tweet, and then someone replied, the only reason that AEW beats NXT every week, except for this week, of course, is because AEW is full of main roster stars. And I'm like, huh? Excuse me? I thought we were well past the time of NXT being a developmental brand. That was years and years ago. I just don't understand this main roster star term. NXT is the main roster. There's 3 brands on the main roster. It's just a roster of people. If you're calling Finn Balor and Adam Cole and Shayna Baszler and the list goes on and on and on, developmental talent, then I would hate to see what is underneath developmental, because, man oh man, it's just a nightmare to deal with this, really. But nonetheless, regardless of all that bullshit aside, I watched NXT yesterday, and it was absolutely incredible. It was just an incredible episode of NXT. Just chaotic and great matches. The Revival and Undisputed Era tag match was just chef kisses. It was just amazing. Of course, when it got announced, everyone was going to think that it was amazing anyway, but it was very, 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 very good. Like, just perfect tag team wrestling in every sense of the word. So, hey, it's pretty obvious that I'm more of an NXT guy, I guess, if you wanted to label me as something. I love wrestling, so I'm just happy that there's good wrestling. But, of course, I am a little bit more towards NXT. And if any week they were to win, I'm glad it was this week, because it was a very good episode of NXT. So, I mean, of course I'm proud, but I'm just glad we're getting good wrestling across the board. No matter what you're watching, we're getting very good wrestling. You probably didn't get a chance to check out any of NXT or AEW yesterday, did you? You'll probably be working.
I was working. I did not get to... I saw it on Twitter, and I for the first time in a couple of weeks, actually, I felt like really, really upset that I was missing out. Not saying that the shows have been bad, because they've been really good, but this is the first week where I was like, damn it, I really wish I was at home right now watching NXT, and not just like watching it, because I can obviously watch it after the fact, but watching it live and like just seeing Twitter explode for both shows, really, but mainly for NXT, because NXT just popped off. I just felt like, damn, I really wish I was watching that right now.
Yeah, it would have been awful to miss it and just see Twitter reacting to everything. I mean, from the moment NXT started, of course, I'm only going to speak from NXT side because that's all I've watched. I'll watch AEW a little bit later today. But from the NXT side, just seeing Becky Lynch start off the show, and I'm like, Becky Lynch is on NXT. She was in the ring talking. And then just to hear This Is My Brutality and Rhea Ripley come out, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And they had a really good match. Of course, it was... I'm glad that no one won. I'm glad that it was a DQ finish because Shayna Baszler and her girls came out to end it. But I'm glad that no one won because, I don't know, there's something about Rhea that I just think she's a very fast rising star. It's pretty obvious. But she has a lot of potential. And Rhea is someone that I think could dethrone Becky Lynch. I'm trying not to sound biased. But Rhea Ripley has that potential. She has a very anti-face quality. It's really weird, and she just has something different to everybody else. And I can't quite tell you what exactly it is, but Rhea has something different. And she looks different, she wrestles differently, she talks differently, she acts differently. Everything about her is just different in the best way possible. I think she is someone because Becky's been champion for a long time now, and not that it's a bad thing that Becky's been champion. She's been a great champion and she's kind of gone through so many people, is that she is established so well that they need... The person that takes the title off of Becky Lynch needs to be someone who's on her level. And I don't know about you, Kev, but there doesn't necessarily seem to be a lot of people that are quite there with Becky that you'd be like, okay, this person can take the title and it would mean something and it would, help this person so much. Because, I don't know, I don't really see Becky losing the championship until Mania. But how do you think? Because is there anyone really that you're just like, yep, they can take the title off her right now and it would be fine? I don't know if we're there yet.
I think the next Raw Women's champ comes from NXT at some point. Ripley is a good candidate, but I think that they're going to do some more with her in NXT. I just think that they haven't done as great a job building up stars outside of the 4 horsewomen as they would have liked. I mean, outside of the horsewomen, you don't really have that breakout star besides Bliss. And Bliss is on SmackDown.
Would you want Bliss? Even if, say, take brands aside, okay? Just say there was no brand split, okay? And someone like Bliss. We've seen Bliss take the championship off Becky before, a couple of years ago. Is Bliss really in that zone that if she took the championship off Becky, would it really benefit any of them that much?
Well, not right now because Bliss has been cold and she's been out of the ring and off TV. At her peak, at her apex, yes, I think that Bliss would be a viable candidate to take the belt off of Becky, but not right now. Again, I don't think Becky loses the belt for a while, so there's still plenty of time.
Oh yeah. With anybody. You can build anybody.
The cream rises to the top. Let's see who rises to the top. And it becomes that viable contender.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really see Becky losing the championship until Mania with the person that won the Rumble. If it was someone, you know what? I'm going to throw it out there right now. You heard it here first. Rhea Ripley will win the Royal Rumble next year.
Woo!
And she will pick Becky Lynch. And it'll be Becky and Rhea at Mania.
That's hot. That's spicy. I like it.
I'm going to say it right now. and I'm going to try and stick to it. We'll see what happens. But I think I would not be mad at that at all.
I don't think anybody would be mad at that. That would be amazing.
And you've kind of planted the seeds here. You could see what they could do in the ring together on NXT. Rhea's at this weird spot where she's like, if there's a ceiling above her, she's right beneath it, and she's just knocking on it, and she's like ready to bust through. I think Rhea is someone that can do that, and I think that would be a good. It's a young star, it's a hot star, it's the prospect is there, and I think her and Becky could probably make some magic together. But I'm gonna go with that. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Becky Rhea at WrestleMania. Not mad.
I like it. I'd honestly say that right now, Rhea Ripley could take the belt off Becky Lynch. Right now. That's how strongly she's been booked.
Yeah. She's had you think of Rhea in the start of the year, losing the NXT UK Women's Championship, and just from January to now, she's had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah, it's, she got out of the purgatory that is NXT UK. I mean, without her, they've definitely lost a bit of identity, I think, over on the UK show. I didn't get to watch today, so I don't really know what happened today, but I definitely think Rhea's had such a great year. The second Mae Young Classic, was that this year or last? That was last year.
That was last year, yeah. But she was great in that.
She's had a great couple of years. We'll put it like that.
Yeah. But
definitely this year she's broken out, and now look at her. She's probably the front runner. I've said this before. Probably the front runner to take the belt off of Shayna Baszler.
Yeah, she probably is. She would be the easy pick to be like, yeah, she's the one to do it. I wouldn't be mad to see her take the championship off Shayna, because Shayna's in a very similar spot to Becky, in the sense of that whoever takes the championship off Shayna, they have to make sure they build properly to do so. But the good thing about the NXT Women's division is that anyone.
There are a lot of candidates to take the belt off Shayna, because you've had them built up so strongly, like women like Dakota and Tegan and Rhea and Candice and Io and Bianca. That's like 6 names right there.
Yeah.
And also, Shayna is an interesting case where, like, she's been dominant, but she also feels beatable in a way that when you had Ronda Rousey as champ, she didn't feel beatable. Right now, Becky Lynch doesn't feel beatable.
She's too.
Shayna
the level. It's Shayna is the perfect level of dominant and beatable, because she's being beat, but hasn't been beat enough to not be dominant. It's a weird situation, but it's just perfect. I mean, it's in NXT. It's in that bubble. Everything just seems to. The best thing about NXT is that everything happens for a reason, for a purpose. I think that's where the disconnect is between NXT or on SmackDown, is that things are just happening to happen on Raw and SmackDown, when on NXT, everything is happening because point A, point B, point C, point D. There's always a plan. There's always a story arc for everything they do. It's not just happening for pure shock. It's not just happening because we need something to do today. Like, everything's happening for a reason. That's where I think the biggest disconnect with people is watching Raw and SmackDown and watching NXT. So that would be the biggest disconnect with Becky and Shayna, is that a lot of the stuff that's happened with Becky is just to happen, and it just seems to fill a little bit of time. You look at all the stuff with Lacey. I'm a Lacey Evans person. I like Lacey Evans, but that just seemed to fill some time. They didn't really have anything else to do. Then she worked with Natty, and that was just to kind of get to the next spot. And then she had Sasha, and that was great, and that was a great story. And then we've gone from the brand split, and now we're going into this champion versus champion thing, and she's had something to do. But it's like, you look at the women of Raw, and post Survivor Series, what is really there for Becky to do? Is she going to fight Charlotte again? I mean, they have great matches, but we've seen it a lot. We don't need to see it right now again. What, is she going to work with someone like... Who really else is there on Raw to her to work with? There isn't really a lot. Asuka? I mean, I wouldn't be mad at Asuka and her, but the viability of Asuka beating Becky is not high. I don't think. No disrespect to Asuka, but she hasn't been built in a way that's, she's going to take the championship off Becky. That being said, Asuka's really the only one to beat Becky this year. There hasn't been too many ladies that have said they've beaten Becky Lynch. Asuka's one of them.
I think there's only 2.
I think there's 3. It was Charlotte. Charlotte's beaten Becky. She beat her, for the Smackdown Women's Championship, like Money in the Bank. And then
Yeah.
Asuka beat her at the Rumble, and Kairi Sane beat her on Raw a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're the only 3
That's
people.
crazy. 3 people in 11 months. 11 and a half months, really.
That's crazy. She's had a... Becky Lynch is still... I will say that she's the face of the company. I genuinely think that.
I believe, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but she's had a stellar year and a half. And, you know, Asuka's one that could potentially go, but then Asuka's got the Women's Tag Team Championships, and God knows what to do with those. But there isn't a lot of depth on Raw, to be completely honest, in the women's
There's
division.
not, especially
there's
in the
Becky
women's
and Charlotte. There's Becky and Charlotte. Then there's Asuka and Kairi. You got Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, the Iconics, Natty.
And sooner or later, Ruby Riott.
Oh yeah, is Ruby on Raw? I guess so.
I have no clue.
Nia Jax is someone that could lurk around too. And Nia's a very easy person for her to just come in and go straight for the championship, in my opinion, because she's Nia. And there's history there with her and Becky. So, I mean, Nia's someone...
Oh my god, yeah.
So, there is Nia somewhere lurking around as well. But it's not like the SmackDown women's division has a lot of... I don't want to say a lot of depth, because there's talent on both shows. It's just the building of them. You got Bayley and Sasha. You got Bliss, who's kind of out at the moment. Nikki Cross, Carmella, Dana Brooke, Mandy and Sonya, Lacey Evans. I think that's about it. But, yeah... Like it's...
Oh, how can we forget Lana on Raw?
Oh, yeah, Lana. Well, hello. Filing for divorce.
And is Tamina on Raw?
No, she's on SmackDown.
Oh, well, there's
nobody meaner.
Right there.
Nobody meaner than Tamina. What, you want to see a Tamina and Bayley program, do you? You hanging out for that one? Okay.
That's money. That's like
WrestleMania
25 whole cents.
Oh, damn. Tamina. Well, yeah. So they've really... The brand split has split up the women's divisions really weirdly. It's a really odd 2 groups. Not in a bad way. I don't mean it as a knock on them and any of their talent. I just mean it as like... It's just a really weird 2 groups. A lot of the programs we've seen before, they didn't mix them to have like fresh... programs, because like there's not a lot of freshness for Becky. Becky's wrestled everyone pretty much on Raw, and there's not a lot of freshness for Bayley. Bayley's worked with Bliss. Bayley's worked with Nikki. She's with Sasha at the moment, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I feel like the ball has passed on this one. Time has passed on Sasha and Bayley wrestling. I know they have good matches, but I don't necessarily want to see it anytime soon, because they've just teased it so many times that I'm just over it. Is that sour of me? Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
That's sour of you.
Probably
No,
is.
no, you're not wrong.
They just teased it so many times. We wanted it a year ago, and we just... Every time it kind of got there, they're like, no, just kidding. And then they won the tag titles, and then... Whatever. I don't know.
I'd still pay to see it, though.
Yeah, it'll probably happen. Let's be honest. We go through all the names in the women's division. It's probably going to happen, but I don't want Sasha or Bayley to turn face. I like them both as heels. I really love Bayley as a heel. I didn't think I would, but I really love her as a heel. I think she's a great heel. She looks a little bit like Dora with her haircut, but it's fine.
She looks a lot older, which is probably the point, right? Because obviously she looks like a child as Bayley, the huggable one. She looks older, but I guess that's the point. Yeah,
it's doing its job. I just like everything about the Sasha and Bayley dynamic at the moment. Their music and everything like that. Just everything's flowing very nicely for those two. But speaking of, champions and this weekend, and we have got champion versus champion matches at Survivor Series. But before we get to Survivor Series, let's talk a little bit about War Games, because, NXT Takeover is genuinely still the weekend as a whole, and I don't really think this one's going to be any different, because it's going to be a very good night of wrestling. Let's talk about the men's War Game match first. The Undisputed Era, who have been in both WWE versions of War Games. And you've got Tommaso Ciampa, Dominic Dijakovic, Keith Lee, and a mystery partner who Triple H has been teasing has been an epic surprise. So I don't know what to really expect if it's an epic surprise. There's a lot of names floating around. We'll get to that in just a second. But War Games in general, how do you feel about War Games? I was on Queen's Court this week, and with Queen, the lovely Queen, and we kind of ran down War Games. We went through our kind of War Games thing and what we like about War Games and stuff like that. Kev, how do you feel about War Games? Do you like the WWE version of War Games? Because obviously WCW had their version of War Games and it was a little different to how it is now. It's a little bit more modern and I think it flows a little bit better now. But how do you feel about War Games? In particular, how do you feel about this men's War Games match that we're going to see this weekend?
Well, first off, there's nothing for me to complain about War Games because in the past 2 years, we've gotten 2 absolute bangers in the War Games. We had the Undisputed Era taking on, who was it, Sanity and the Authors of Pain and Roddy Strong, which was great. Then last year you had the Undisputed Era taking on Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and the War Raiders. This year you have the Undisputed Era taking on Champ. Like you just ran down the names, not even going to do it again. I think it's going to be great. I think the Undisputed Era I feel like they have to win. I feel like to cap off the year of the Undisputed Era, they have to win. But at the same time, at odds with that, if you're gonna have such an epic surprise beyond the Team Ciampa, don't you feel like they have to win? Don't you feel like that surprise has to tip the scales?
Good
question.
I don't know, because there's ways around it, but the easy answer would just be like, yes, they do have to win, but there's always a way around it in wrestling. Just remember that.
If you had a guess right now, one name who the mystery partner would be, who would you guess?
Well, the name's been floating around for a few months, but maybe it's John Morrison.
Yeah, I've seen that. Do you think that would get a big pop?
Yes. They're in a wrestling city. You'd hear that guitar riff for John Morrison's music. Chicago would
be a great entrance.
It's Chicago. Chicago know wrestling. Chicago love wrestling. John Morrison was always a property that was pretty over from memory with a wrestling crowd because he did a lot of flips. Let's be honest. Like, wrestling crowds eat that shit up. And he was John Morrison. I didn't love John Morrison, but I certainly didn't dislike John Morrison. I always liked John Morrison. I'd be not mad if it was him. It's a cool surprise. I would pop because, hey, he hasn't been there in like 8 years. It'd be cool to see John Morrison. Would it really fit the mold of that? I don't know. But epic surprise. Who would you say? Because there's not too many names floating in my head that I'd be like, it's an epic surprise. Like, who? Yeah,
I don't know how epic this is, but this occurred to me like yesterday. There is one person in NXT that would be a big time name that we haven't seen in a little bit, and for me that's Kushida.
Would that be an epic surprise?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's epic to me, and the crowd will pop for it.
Yeah, the crowd will pop. It could be Velveteen. Let's not count him out.
It could be Velveteen, but I don't feel like that's an epic surprise.
No, it's not. Because we've seen him 6 weeks ago, and like it would be like cool. It'll be like, yeah, cool. That Velveteen Dream ain't mad. There is always that sense that it could be him. But epic surprise. The problem with Triple H saying that is like now I'm hyped for it, and it's easy to
underdeliver.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Regardless of who's in this match, it's going to be very good. It's going to be a great match. It'll probably be the main event, I would assume, which obviously I'm not mad about at all. Who wins? Who wins this? Is it Undisputed Era? Is it Team Ciampa? Who do you think goes over in this one?
I think it's the Undisputed Era. I think it's their match. They've been in it 3 times now. This will be time number 3. And I think that they have to win to cap off, like I said, the year of the Undisputed Era. Nothing will symbolize their dominance this year, like the 4 of them standing tall atop the cage as 2019 sort of peters to a close. Even though we still have a month left, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Team Ciampa because it builds towards title matches.
Yeah.
I wish this was for the gold, all of it. Winner take all kind of deal, but it's not. Okay, well, moving on from that match, there is a lot of... We'll talk about the other War Games match in a second, but we have got Matt Riddle and Finn Balor going at it, which is... We wouldn't have said that 3 months ago, 2 months ago. We would not have said Finn Balor and Matt Riddle were going to go at it. A match that I didn't know I needed, but I definitely need it. And it's going to be very, very good. It's going to be hard to top this match just in terms of just wrestling. They're going to go out there and have a great match. Good to see Finn back in NXT. I'm excited for him to work with Riddle, and how do you think this works out? Is it just going to go with Finn winning this one to kind of stamp his name back in NXT?
Well, yeah, I think Finn has to win, or else it's kind of a waste bringing him down. But I'm excited to see Finn Balor with like the chains off him, because it's no secret that they work different in NXT. They wrestle different in NXT, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
I just think Finn Balor got so vanilla on the main roster. I'm excited to see the Balor that was the longest reigning NXT champion, that was probably one of the best NXT champions. Had classics with Owens and Joe. Had a match with Nakamura. I think that we're going to see that old Finn Balor come out here, and I think he's going to beat Riddle. I don't know what's going to happen to Riddle after that, but this is a match Finn Balor has to win.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think Finn wins this one. I think it's going to be a great match. I have come around to Matt Riddle in the last few weeks, or month or so, and I like Matt Riddle now. I think he's great. I just think this match is going to be fun. This will be the kind of match that could start off a weekend very nicely. It's going to be a lot of fun, but I think Finn probably should win this one, especially since we'll still get Finn and Johnny at some point. I just think Finn should be the one to win this match, and hey, it's going to be good nonetheless. Speaking of good, there will be a triple threat match. Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, Damian Priest. Winner gets an NXT Championship match at Survivor Series, which is just an even bigger deal to see the NXT Championship defended on Survivor Series. It's a huge deal. Listen, it's going to be a fun triple threat, but Pete Dunne needs to win this match.
Yeah, I agree. It has to be Pete Dunne. There's no other possibility. No one wants to see a Priest Cole match, and heel it just doesn't work with Dane or Priest, but I don't like Priest that much. It has to be Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne Adam Cole is going to be an absolute phenomenon of a match. It might be the match of the night at Survivor Series.
Yeah, I'm very, 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 very excited for because Pete Dunne and Adam Cole can go out there at Survivor Series and just steal the show. They have that potential. So I think Pete should win this one. I'm pretty sure Pete's going to win this one, but it's going to be a good triple threat match. I mean, this has been building for a while, so it's a nice triple threat feud, if you will. It's just it'll be a very good match. But I think Pete will win this one. Women's War Games. I mean, we have been talking about this for a while now, and we're both very, very excited for this match. Team Rhea Ripley, Tegan Nox, Mia Yim, who I've found like a new respect for, as you know, and Candice LeRae, and Team Shayna Baszler. It's Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray, the NXT UK Women's Champion, and Bianca Belair. Just 8 phenomenal talents, and there's, the kind of lurking kind of Dakota Kai situation on the outside of things that may or may not, get involved in this match in some respects somehow, who knows, but this is going to be really, really, really good, and I'm very, very, very excited for this one, because it has so many possibilities of going so many different ways. There's so many things that I can see happening, because there could be tension within Team Baszler she's the NXT Women's Champion, she's fought these people before. You have the outside interference maybe of Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir. Like, there is a lot of variables in this match, but I think these women are going to beat the absolute piss out of one another. So I'm excited. How excited are you for this match? What do you see happening? What do you see happening with all these variables that I just mentioned? What's going through your head with this one?
All hell's going to break loose. It's going to be the best War Games match of the night.
Yeah.
It's going to be hectic. There's going to be spot after spot. You're going to see feats of strength from the likes of Bianca Belair. You're going to see flying from Io Shirai. If Io Shirai comes off the top of the cage with that moonsault, I might cry tears of joy and of nervousness, but mainly joy.
Yeah.
And I think that Team Ripley will win, and I think that somebody, probably Rhea, but it could be any of the four. Well, it could probably be any of the three besides Mia Yim. I think the winner of the match pins Baszler.
Yeah, that would be my I would say the winner of the match pins Baszler in this situation, but hey, have we learned anything with Shayna Baszler is that she can just choke anyone out at any time. Just when you think someone else is going to win, Shayna can just win. But it would make sense here to build towards Shayna and someone. But that being said, there's so many that there could be just a big multi-person match for the championship at some point because they're that good. And there's that many variable options that they might need a six-pack challenge or something like that, which I wouldn't be mad at all. But, man, oh man, it's, there's so many outcomes for this match. You could have Rhea win, Tegan Nox, Candice LeRae, Mia, maybe, and then on the other side of things, there's so many outcomes that could come with Io and Bianca and just Kaylee Ray's in the situation as well. That makes for an interesting deal. There's just everything about this match is just going to be very, very good. I think Team Rhea does win. I'm not exactly sure who, but if my money was on it, I would probably say Rhea would win. But hey, it could really go anyway. But I'm going to say Team Rhea as well. But I agree with you. I think this is going to be an absolutely fantastic match. And just one that I'm just very much excited for. I can't remember the last time I was really this hype for a match. Like I'm so excited. I'm just ready to get to the weekend so I can see it.
I know we're almost there. I can't wait. And the best part is this weekend I'm going to Columbus for a football game, Ohio, and I took the whole weekend off, so I'll be able to watch at least Survivor Series live. War Games I might be out partying and stuff, but I might try to watch it anyway on my phone or something, and I'll probably be home for Survivor Series, and I won't be at work, so I'll be able to watch it, tweet about it, full tilt. I'm excited. You know, it's a big 4 pay-per-view. It feels special this year. It feels like it has a lot of gravity to it that it hasn't necessarily always had.
No, I agree with you. I'll be able to watch both shows live. You should always miss one. I'll be hungover as fuck on Sunday watching War Games because it's on Sunday morning here, of course. But I don't care. It'll be that good that it won't even matter if I have a hangover. Of course, everyone knows it's my birthday weekend this weekend, so I am going to get tarnished. I'm excited. It's going to be fun though. Survivor Series will be fun. Speaking of Survivor Series, you're right. It feels different. I mean, we had Raw and SmackDown, and I always like Raw and SmackDown. Some people weren't a fan of, like, championships not being defended last year and stuff like that. Didn't bother me. I like the champion versus champion aspect. I mean, last year, Raw had a clean sweep of SmackDown, if you remember. It was weird. It was just odd. And all I remember from last year's Survivor Series is that when I watched it, I was getting really sick. Like, literally, I got really sick during the show. It sucked. I was sick for days. I had food poisoning. I got it during, like, I must have ate something before Survivor Series, and then as Survivor Series progressed, I was like, I don't feel great. By the time Charlotte and Ronda ended last year, I was like, I'm not feeling good. And I was sick for like 3 days, just in my bed. Just not fun. Food poisoning is not fun, people. Have you ever had food poisoning before? It's awful.
I have had food poisoning before. I haven't had it since I was like 18 years old, and I had it real bad, but it is the worst. You just so feel like you're going to die.
I was literally like, put it this way. Here's a graphic little thing for you. Sitting on the toilet with a bucket. Same time.
Yeah, oh no, it's coming out of both ends. It's the worst.
Same time. And you just feel like it's never going to end, and you can't eat anything, so you're just throwing up nothing, and that's even worse. Like, I couldn't even drink water without wanting to throw up. It was the worst time, the worst. I'd never been sicker than that. And it was, during Survivor Series. At the start of Survivor Series, I was a chirpy little dude. I was running around like, fuck yeah, Survivor Series is on. Let's go SmackDown. That didn't work out great. And by the end of it, not only did SmackDown get annihilated, so did my stomach. So it was not fun. So that's what I remember about last year's Survivor Series. But other than that, what I remember is that Charlotte and Ronda had a really good match, and I loved that match. I think it was one of the better matches of last year, to be completely honest with you. No one ever agrees with me on that, but Charlotte went berserk.
Ronda Charlotte, I literally watched it yesterday. It's that good.
It's such a good match. That spear that Charlotte hits in that match, perfect. What a perfect spear.
It was just such a good brawl.
Yeah, it was a different match than Ronda ever had.
Two superstars that are pretty technically sound.
Yeah,
and they just went to war instead.
They clicked too. They clicked really, really well, and it was a match that we weren't expecting to get, and we got it, and it was very, very, very good. But Survivor Series, NXT's involved this year. It feels a little bit different. I know that this has been kind of the common kind of saying with Survivor Series. I do wish the stakes were a little bit higher. I just wish there was something to, I understand there's bragging rights and you want to be the best brand, but I just wish there was something to fight for and being like, okay, if you get this, you get this. So then it's like, okay, we want to really win. Nonetheless, it's still going to be really fun. Like I said, the last few weeks of TV has been fun. Of course, this is coming out on Friday before SmackDown, but everyone's going to be in town in Chicago for SmackDown, so I'm pretty certain that we're going to get we're going to get similar to what we got on Raw and NXT this week on SmackDown. It's probably going to be a really fun show. Chicago is a fantastic crowd, just in general, so we don't have to worry about having a quote-unquote dead crowd. I think there's going to be a few CM Punk chants around over the weekend, to be completely honest, just with the circumstances with CM Punk.
People are going to expect him to be there because it's in Chicago.
Oh, my God. And he's not Did you watch WWE Backstage this week?
I did.
How good is CM Punk on that show? He's very good.
He's very honest. So well. He's gonna be someone he's gonna be someone they need because they need to bring that honesty. If the show's not gonna come off as anything more than a WWE shill if they don't have somebody that's willing to criticize the quote
they weren't not criticizing. Oh, you hate that word. They said it a lot too on Backstage this week.
No, I tweeted about it.
It's not that they weren't criticizing the product before, because they were giving their opinions, and I've watched WWE Backstage every week. It's my favorite wrestling show all week. If you want to call it, I guess it's a wrestling show in a sense. It's more of a wrestling show than Total Divas, and I consider that a wrestling show. Anyway, I digress. They do criticize when they need to, but of course they all work for WWE. It's not like Paige is going to go around and saying like, I hate the WWE, I hate this, because she does still work for that company and she doesn't want to get punished in any way. Not that she can get punished in the ring, which is nice for her. But it's just Punk adds that, just what you said, that other bit to the show. And like if anyone who hasn't watched WWE Backstage this week, I suggest going and watching it. There was this bit where it was like Punk was saying something about, I think it was about that big dog segment last week, and he was like, it was garbage. And he looked at Paige and he was like, it was garbage, right, Paige? And Paige just looked at him and was like, yeah, it was. And I was like, oh my God. Punk's he's that middleman. Renee's a great host. I love Booker T on that show because Booker's kind of crazy, and I really dig that, so get it.
He's a big personality.
It's just a good bunch of people, and you had David Arquette on there, and it was the weirdest promo I've ever seen in my life, and I loved every minute of it.
Oh, it was bad.
Oh, it was terrible. It was awful.
And I tweeted about Arquette too, because I know Arquette gets a lot of hate because he tried indie wrestling recently.
I love Arquette. I love David Arquette.
I just think that you could tell by the look on his face when he was out there with Booker and with Punk watching him. You could tell how much he loves wrestling. He was like a child. He was so giddy.
He was fanboying like crazy. He was loving it, and I've always liked David Arquette. And hey, can me or you say that we've been WCW champion? No, he can. He's a former WCW champion. There's not that many people that can say that. But yeah, Punk adds that little bit of legitimacy to the show, and he's going to be brutally honest. And he even said it, like him and Renee had like a sit-down interview and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy to say he's having an interview on. It's still a WWE show. I know he's working for Fox. Don't give me that fucking shit. I understand. But it's a WWE show. He's having an interview about it. He's talking about WWE. He's talking about current things in the WWE landscape. But he did say, if it's good, it's not like I'm just going to shit on it to shit on it. If it's good, I'm going to tell you it's good. But Punk is like Twitter in a lot of ways. He is. He's a little bit more honest, maybe, because some of Twitter won't admit when something's good. But he's not just shitting on it to shit on it. He's shitting on it because he wants the product to be better. And he knows good wrestling. He's been involved in the wrestling business for a long time. He knows what's good and what he thinks is good and what he thinks isn't. So he understands what's good about WWE. He said it. The women and NXT. And really, you can't really say he's not right, in a sense, because that's my favorite bits about WWE. Is the ladies are killing it. They have been for the last couple of years. And NXT. NXT kills it on a consistent weekly basis. So I can't really say that I disagree with him, because I don't. But to get back to the Survivor Series, there is going to probably be some CM Punk chants around the place. We ain't going to avoid them. But Survivor Series will be really fun. The thing... I don't know if it's majority. What I'm most looking forward to is the triple threat champion versus champion versus champion match. Shayna Baszler, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. I'm pretty damn excited for this match. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It could really go any way, which is what I like. But I, honest to God, think that Bayley is going to win this match. Call me crazy.
You think that would be the surprise? That would be the way. That would be the let's do what they're not expecting move. I think Shayna Baszler is going to, and I've said this on this show, if NXT is to win one of these head-to-head matches, it has to be this one.
I agree with you. I do agree with you. But what I want and what I think is sometimes two different things. But I agree. If NXT is to win anything, I hope Shayna wins this one. I hope Shayna wins. I think Bayley is going to win. But I'm not counting out Becky either, because it's Becky.
Yeah, this match is going to be so good, and they really did a good job setting it up so anyone could win.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that Shayna's going to win?
Yeah, I do. I think Shayna's going to win.
Okay, so you're going Shayna. I'll go Bayley. But man, that's the beauty of this match. It could go anyway. I think the match is going to be good. By the way, I know there was some kind of... I seen something on Twitter a few weeks ago that maybe this would main event. I don't think it will main event. I honestly think Brock and Ray will main event. We'll get to we'll talk about Brock and Ray now. I'll give you the floor for this match because I know how much you love Rey Mysterio. So go for it. Hype this match up. Who do you think's going to win? All of that good stuff.
It's a tale as old as time. The behemoth, the Goliath, Brock Lesnar, taking on Rey Mysterio, the underdog, the ultimate underdog, the greatest little man in WWE history. Brock's attacked his family. He's attacked his friends and loved ones. The match is no holds barred. I think we'll see some interference from Cain Velasquez. I think we'll see some interference from Dominic Mysterio. And in the end, when the dust settles, when everything is said and done, Rey Mysterio will be standing tall as your new WWE champion.
Oh, man. No holds barred. It's going to be a lot of fun. It has the potential to be fun. Brock works best when he works with someone he can just throw around. And he can throw Rey Mysterio around, obviously. I wasn't at the start, but I am now. I want Rey to win this match. I really want Rey to just win. Even if he doesn't hold the title for all that long, it doesn't matter to me. I just want him to win. No holds barred adds like something else into this match because Rey can use the equalizers, weapons. I think this match is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be great. I'm going to go Rey Mysterio as well. So you can hug me virtually because I know you will be because Rey's your dude. Rey is your dude.
Rey is my guy. Rey is one of my heroes. One of my favorite things about wrestling. The reason I got into wrestling is Rey Mysterio. He's got to win. If he wins, I'll cry, and I'll record it.
I love that. I love that for you. So I hope Rey wins, not just for you, but just something different. Rey to win, beat Brock, and then, we'll have Brock later at Rumble or Mania or something, and we'll see what happens there. But I think it is going to be a lot of fun. Fiend, Daniel Bryan, Universal Championship. I don't know what to expect from this match too much, because it could go many ways, but the result will be the same regardless of how it goes. Fiend retains. I don't think there's any way that Bryan will win this match. It's a weird first feud for the Fiend, I think. I didn't really picture this. But I'm not mad. They've had, Bray and Bryan have had great matches in the past, but I don't necessarily know if this is designed to be a great match. I don't know. That's the thing with the Fiend. I don't know how to absorb that yet. As we see this title reign progress, I don't know. Do you think it's going to be great, or do you think it'll be more of a dominating kind of performance? How do you think this one will go?
I just think they fucked up out of the gate with the type of match they had with Rollins, to the point where that's going to be the expected outcome. I think it's going to be that kind of match where, Fiend just eats finishers and gets up and doesn't, shakes him off and no-sells him. I don't think it's going to be that great a match, and that sucks because it's two great talents.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the eating finishes thing. Everyone seemed to hate it. I don't know if I hated it. I don't know. I see why people hate it. Don't get me wrong. Because the problem isn't so much for me as the no-selling of the finisher and just eating them and being like, whatever. It's that, how do you get past that with the Fiend? So
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Let's say, how does someone beat the Fiend? He's dominant, but he's unbeatable. And that's not what you want. You don't want someone to be unbeatable. You want someone to be dominant. There's a way to dominate without being unbeatable. And I don't know. I don't know how this match will go, but the Fiend will win. I'm pretty sure we can agree on that. The Fiend will win.
Yeah, the Fiend will win.
No way Bryan is winning this one. It'd be silly to have the Fiend lose the championship. Now, how do you feel about the Blue Universal Championship?
I like it more than the Red Universal Championship, but I don't like it.
Yes, agreed. 100% agreed. It does look better than the Red. It doesn't look so fake.
It's a little easier on the eyes, but it's still it's not what a championship belt should look like.
No. I'm not really too much more to say on that match. Triple threat tag team match. The NXT tag team champions, the Undisputed Era, taking on the Raw tag team champions, the Viking Raiders, taking on the Smackdown tag team champions, the New Day. It has potential to be fun. There's a lot of people in there, a lot of bodies. I really don't see any... I'd like to say the Undisputed Era will win, but I think the New Day will, because Kofi and all of that kind of stuff. I think the New Day will probably be the ones to win. What do you think?
I think the War Raiders are going to win.
Who? Who are they?
The Raw Tag Team Champions.
The Viking Raiders, don't you mean? Hello.
What did I call them? Oh, the War Raiders. Son of a bitch.
You wrong.
I think the Viking Experience is going to win.
Isn't that the name of their finisher now? I'm honestly not completely sure.
I think I'm pretty sure it is. I couldn't tell you what the hell they're called anymore. They might be called Tom and Jerry.
Who fucking knows? Anyway, do you think this match will be fun?
Yeah, it'll be. There's a lot of bodies flying around. We've seen Undisputed Era and the Viking Raiders before, and that was a great match.
Yeah,
we know the New Day works well with just about everybody, and they're terrific together.
Yep,
I think this will be fun.
Yeah,
I think that the War Raiders, Viking Raiders, whatever, need the win more so. I think it'll legitimize them as a force. Whereas we know the Undisputed Era has, they have... It doesn't really hurt anyone from NXT to lose because, they're NXT. And while they're not really a developmental brand anymore, they'd like us to believe that they are a developmental brand. So it wouldn't hurt for NXT to lose any of these matches. And the New Day has won so many times that I don't think that it hurts them to lose either, but I think it hurts the Viking Raiders to lose.
Okay. Triple threat tags are weird because the Viking Raiders are not in a situation where they have to be pinned. They could just lose.
Yeah, I know. And I don't think they'll get pinned even if they lose. I think the Undisputed Era will probably get pinned.
Yeah, I'm going to go with... Fuck it. Undisputed Era to win. Fuck it. Why
Fuck
not?
it.
Fuck it. Another champion versus champion match that'll probably steal the fucking show is Roddy Strong, the NXT North American champion, AJ Styles, the United States champion, and Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental champion, in a triple threat match. Holy fucking shit. I don't give a fuck who fucking wins this one. I don't care. It's going to be... I can already sense that it's going to be incredible. Just 3 grade A talents. Whew. If I was a betting man, I'd probably say AJ to win. But you could, well, I don't know. Could you go anyway? You probably could go in either direction with these. But it's going to be a lot of fun. That's a wrestling man's wet dream, isn't it?
It really is. Cole, Strong, Styles, Strong, Nakamura. Oh, man. Just seeing Styles and Nakamura in the same ring again is going to give me chills. I know we didn't get all of the feud they had last year. It probably wasn't quite as good as people would have hoped given their history, but it was still really, really good. And Roddy Strong could work with just about anybody, and he's in the hottest stretch of his career since joining Undisputed Era. I really think it could go either way. I also think AJ Styles will win, though.
Yeah, I think if I was to put money on it, I'd say AJ, but I'd love to see Shinsuke win. I really, really, really would. I'd be fine to see Roddy win. I'm fine with AJ if AJ wins. It's just going to be a really good match. That's a good way to start a pay-per-view, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think everyone's going to be just glued to their screen watching that one. Well, at least the internet wrestling community, if that's what you want to call them.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going to be...
Love the IWC.
Oh, yeah. I think that one's going to be very, very good. The 5-on-5 tag matches. We don't know the participants of Team NXT on both the men's and women's teams. We'll talk about the men's Survivor Series team match. How do you feel about 5-on-5-on-5? Is it too much? Is this going to get...
That's going to be really tough to A to C because the apron's going to be pretty full.
Yeah.
And B, just there's going to be at least 10 falls in the match.
That's a lot. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of falls that just are happening off of random moves. That's what I'm scared of. Lots of roll-ups.
It's going to be one of those matches where all the falls come at once.
Yep, and they just keep going. Is it going to be like 3 people in the ring at once? That's how I hope they go. Like one from each team, and it's triple threat style. I would assume that's how we're going to go. But then where does the rule of... I guess there's no count-outs then. There's no DQs, I guess. So couldn't everyone just fight each other? I don't know. It's my brain thinking about it is just a lot. And just the idea of that it's 5-on-5-on-5. That's 15 people in the ring at the start of the... Well, not in the ring at once, but you know what I mean. There's 15 bodies potentially to do something all at once. That's a lot. It has to either be really, 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 really good, or it's going to be trash. It's just going to be chaotic mess. And I see it... I don't know. It's, I have faith that they can both be really good. Trust me. But it has a lot of room for error. And a lot of room for a lot of roll-ups and random stuff that'll be like, oh, you're eliminated. See ya. And we're just trying to get down to have an actual match inside of this.
I have a feeling this is where the women are going to get shortchanged. I have a feeling that match is going to be like roll-ups and real short pinfalls, and I don't think that they're going to have a good match at all. I think the men, could have a good match. I don't think it'll be I don't think it'll be the highlight of the show by any means, especially given the caliber of matches elsewhere on the card.
Because the last couple of years, the traditional Survivor Series matches, both on the men's and women's sides, have been highlights of Survivor Series. Both of them. Last year were both great.
And Survivor Series is a pay-per-view built on the 5-on-5, so you like those matches to be the highlight. But I don't think that's going to be the case this year.
But there is... I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and just cross my fingers and just hope for the best. But unless they're getting a lot of time to go through all of these falls properly, which I don't know... Well, it isn't like there's a lot of matches on the card. There isn't an overabundance of matches. However,
they've shown in the past, since they've split the brands up and done the Raw versus SmackDown, they've shown a willingness to give a lot of time to these matches.
Yeah, and that's what I hope for this year, but it has a lot, like I said, there's a lot of room for a chaotic mess. Sometimes chaos is great, but not all the time, and I don't really necessarily like chaos inside of a wrestling match sometimes. Just when there's that many bodies in there. There's a lot of people, but hey, they could still be two fantastic matches, because they have potential to be. We don't know who's on Team NXT for the other two. I'm assuming, in my wrestling brain, if I'm overanalyzing things, are they going to wait until after War Games to see who's alright?
Probably, because War Games is going to take a lot out of a lot of people.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking they're just kind of cruising and be like, we'll surprise you. And hey, storyline-wise, that's a pretty good strategy to have, to be like, we're not telling you who's on our team.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect strategy by Triple H and the gang. You don't want to tip your hand. No.
Kayfabe-wise, they're the smartest of the lot. The men's Survivor Series teams, how do you feel about Raw and SmackDown's team? For Raw, I'm gonna get lost on who's on the team, but it's Seth, Kevin Owens, Ricochet, Randy Orton, and who's the other one?
Is it McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre. You got it. SmackDown, it's Roman Reigns, Shorty G, Mustafa Ali, Baron Corbin, or King Corbin, sorry, my bad, and Braun Strowman. Two pretty good teams, led by Seth and led by Roman. You can't really say that they're bad teams at all. They're pretty damn good teams. To see Seth and to see Roman in there with some of the NXT people would be a lot of fun. I have a little bit of a weird theory about that match. And you look at all the names in it, even not knowing who's... This match is perfect for a breakout moment of someone like Mustafa Ali, who I think is like right on the cusp of breaking. I feel like there's something with Mustafa Ali. Call me crazy. I don't know if you agree with me, but I just feel like there's something there. There's a lot of potential there for him to be a big star. And a match like this, imagine if Mustafa Ali was the sole survivor for Team SmackDown. That's pretty damn cool to say. Hey, wilder things have happened, haven't they?
No.
No?
No. The SmackDown's gonna win. The sole survivors are gonna be Reigns and Strowman. Strowman's gonna have a big performance like he always does at Survivor Series.
Okay. I guess. Who do you think wins the men's Survivor Series? SmackDown, you said?
I said SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown. I would assume SmackDown's gonna win the whole night because Fox. To be completely honest with you, I think SmackDown's gonna win. If there even is I guess they can tally it and SmackDown will win. Women's side of things, Team SmackDown is led by the boss, Sasha Banks. We got Carmella, Dana Brooke, Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. And then on the Raw side of things, we've got Team Captain Charlotte with Natalya, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Sarah Logan. Which is... I don't dislike Sarah Logan. I actually like Sarah Logan quite a lot, which is a random choice for that spot.
Yeah, it was out of nowhere.
It was kind of, yeah. And of course, Team NXT not yet to be announced. But I would say that, well, I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that the Women's Tag Team Championships are not being defended at Survivor Series. You had the perfect opportunity to have Raw's Kairi Sane and Asuka versus SmackDown's like Mandy Rose and Sonya versus Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai from NXT, and you could have still had Brand Warfare with the Tag Team Championships on the line. Just saying.
Oh, Tegan Nox.
But they're on Team Raw. I would assume that if Raw are going to win a Survivor Series match, it would be this one.
Yeah, because you have Charlotte, you have the tag champs.
And Charlotte will probably be sole survivor, to be completely honest with you.
Probably.
I would say this one. I think people that'll have a good a good performance in this match will be people like Sasha, people like Charlotte. I could see Asuka having a fairly good run in this match. I think it'll be fine, depending on who's in Team NXT. I'd assume it'll be people like Rhea. And probably Dakota will probably be in this match and stuff
Rhea,
like that.
Dakota, Tegan, Mia Yim.
Io.
But yeah, Io, maybe Candice as a surprise.
Bianca could be in it. I want Io to be in it so then I can see Io fight Asuka or Kairi Sane. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that cool little moment on NXT. I saw it all over Twitter where EO and
so
Kyrie sort of squared off for a
so
minute,
good.
like, "Oh, what are you doing here?"
So good. I was like, oh my god, please just... And then Sarah Logan ruined it by kicking her. Can we talk about Sarah Logan for a minute? Okay, so we kind of called her the kind of wild card of this match because she kind of was just out of nowhere. Sarah Logan has not wrestled on Raw since May. Before that, the last time she was on television that wasn't on main event was the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, where she was the runner-up. I'll give her that.
Yeah, she almost won the damn thing.
I like Sarah Logan. I think she's very talented. However, obviously, whoever made the decision to break up the Riot Squad is fucking insane. But she has obviously been lost since the Riot Squad breakup. Sarah Logan had a lot of reputation on the indie scene before she got to WWE as being a psychopath, being crazy. She wrestled in a lot of hardcore matches and stuff like that.
Crazy Mary Dobson.
Yeah. Do you think there's potential for someone like Sarah Logan, or is she just going to be someone that's always just lost in the shuffle?
I think of the 3 Riot squatters, she's the one that gets lost in the shuffle because Liv has the look.
Yep.
And Ruby has the... Not saying Sarah Logan doesn't have the ability, because she does, but Ruby's like... I think Ruby's better.
Yeah, I do too.
She's also got like the punk rock look that you kind of like too, like the anti-diva look.
Yep.
I think Sarah Logan gets lost in the shuffle, which is a shame, but someone has to. You know, you can't make everyone a superstar.
No, that's true. I agree with you. Liv has a look. You can put her on a poster, and she has a look, and she can talk. Liv can actually talk. If you actually heard Liv cut up, well, Liv's been... People are kind of like, why isn't Liv in this match over Sarah? And I'm like, well, I think they have plans for Liv Morgan. As weird as it sounds, I know it's been a long time, but I do think they do have some kind of a plan for Liv to be special when she does reappear on the show. I really actually do believe that because Liv has something. I'm not really sure what it is, but there's something there with Liv. Sarah's just kind of... She'll get eliminated fairly early on, let's be honest. I would have liked to seen a member of the Iconics in the team, of course, but I guess you can't have one without the other, so none of them are on the team. But, I mean, I would have liked to see Peyton Royce over Sarah Logan. I mean, I think Peyton's really good in the ring.
Peyton is good in the ring. Peyton's very underappreciated in the ring. And on the mic. No one likes the Iconics on the mic because, like, they're shrill, but they are really good at that. That's obviously the strong suit, but Peyton Royce is good in the ring, too.
Yes, you know how much... I don't even care. Well, I don't know if I would like them as much if they weren't from this country, but that's not to say I don't think they're very good at what they do. People are like, oh, they're so annoying. I'm like, well, they are meant to be. They are meant to be those annoying 2 girls that's what their thing is. And they're very good at what they do. And I don't think Billy's fantastic in the ring, but Peyton's a lot better than Billy in the ring. But Billy's way funnier than Peyton. They just mesh nicely. So I guess without one, you didn't really have the other. Like, they're a package deal, so I understand why they're not on the team. But hey, they got a little bit of a moment to shine on Raw this week, so I was happy with that. Even if they lost, they're still on television. I don't see them staying in WWE. Is that weird for me to say? I think in a couple of years, those girls won't be signed to WWE anymore. Either by release, or they let their contracts ride out.
They feel like Impact superstars to me.
Really?
I don't think they're going AEW if that's what you're insinuating.
You couldn't see them there?
No.
You know what's really weird? If they went to AEW, I would watch AEW every single week.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
And I would probably watch AEW over NXT if they were on my screen every week. Not kidding. They would be people... There's certain people that I would follow no matter where they went. They are people that I would follow no matter where they go. Because I do think, you know this, you know how I feel about them, but I do think that their title run was very underutilized. I think there could have been a lot more done with them, with the championships, and they just didn't put them on television. They had a little bit of momentum. You know, they're a great comedy act, and they are funny, and I understand that's their role, but look at what they did in NXT. I understand they were never champs, but they were featured a lot, and they lost, but they didn't lose quite enough to be like they just lose. They did win in NXT sometimes, and they were great in NXT. Can we just send them back to NXT? I think that's what I'm getting at, is maybe just send them back to NXT. Not that it's needed. They'd probably get lost there too. Let's just let them do something. Let them be the 24/7 champion.
I'm surprised they haven't yet.
Honestly, they'd be fantastic with that championship. Give them something to do. They're funny. They can just run around and be idiots. That's what they're best at. I would like to see them fight R-Truth. Hell yeah. Imagine the segments those people would have. He would not know what they're saying. He wouldn't. It'd be so good. Anyway, I think, to go back to what I was originally saying, Team Raw will probably win this Survivor Series match. Survivor Series as a whole will be really fun. Of course, Adam Cole will be defending in there. I would assume Cole would just retain on Survivor Series, which is fine. Fine by me. I'm not mad about that, but this is the chance for the NXT Championship match to steal the show. I think they have the potential there, especially with someone like Pete Dunne, if that's who wins, which I think it will be. I think
we're both in agreement. Pete Dunne's going to win. That match, it should be pretty good.
Yeah. It sounded like you had a brain fart then. It sounded like you were going to say something else, and then you were like, it was going to be good.
I was just thinking about, I was going to say it was going to be great, but then I'm like, I'm not the biggest Killian Dane fan, and I don't like Damian Priest. Obviously, it's going to be hectic and chaotic, and it'll probably be a lot of fun. I just, I'm not
the hype
psyched.
meter. Yeah, the hype meter. I get it. Is there anything I'm missing at Survivor Series? I think we ran through all the matches.
No, I think we got everything.
Okay, so if you were a guessing man here, a betting man, what's stealing the entire weekend? What match is going to do it?
The Women's War Games match.
I would agree with you. I think that's going to steal the weekend. I think it's going to be very, very good. My hype meter is so high for that match, and I think it's okay to be hyped for this one, because I think it's going to be very good. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited for this weekend of wrestling, more so than I have been in quite a while.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is going to be a really great weekend.
Yeah, I'm really keen for it all. I'm ready for it. Let's fucking do this. Let's get to some War Games. Let's get to Survivor Series, and let's keep going. We should have a good Smackdown in store for us this week as well. With everyone there, it'll probably be another chaotic stuff, and I'm more than down for it. So more brawls. Let's build towards Survivor Series. Let's build towards War Games or whatever. I'm excited for everything. So I guess that'll do us for this week. We'll see what happens over the weekend. You'll see us very active on Twitter at least for Survivor Series, both of us will be tweeting like crazy. And please make sure, I will take a minute just to say that after NXT Takeover War Games, I will be going live on Twitch to talk about NXT Takeover War Games, a little special. It won't be recorded for a podcast or anything like that. It's the only place you're going to get to hear me talk about Survivor Series, NXT Takeover War Games. We'll be raising money for the Red Cross Australia and the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital, because we've had some devastating bushfires in this country, including very close to me. It's been New South Wales, which is another state, and Queensland, another state, and in South Australia. In the last couple of days, we've had some devastating bushfires. We've had lives lost. We've had properties destroyed. Animals are being killed in this. Their homes are being destroyed. Thousands and thousands and thousands of Australians are being affected by this. So I'm going to do my bit and try to raise, even if I just raise $1, I will be happy. But directly after NXT Takeover War Games, to NXT Takeover War Games, twitch.tv/Josh Robinson 00. You can donate. There'll be 3 ways to donate. You can donate to a setup PayPal page, which I will divide the money between the 2 places, or I will provide links to the Red Cross Australia and to the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital GoFundMe page to raise some money to help people with essentials like shelter and water and food, and then of course helping. It's a koala hospital. They do help other animals as well, but koalas are very native to this country, obviously, and their homes are being destroyed. I don't know if you've seen any videos or anything about the bushfires, but it's pretty heartbreaking to see. It always pulls at my heartstrings to see animals being affected by this kind of stuff. Of course, people too. There's been over I think at this point there's been 12 people that have been killed in these fires over the last 2 weeks. We've had soaring temperatures, and it's not even summertime in Australia yet. So we're probably in for a pretty wild summer with this kind of stuff. I had fires 30 kilometers away from me a couple of days ago, and my town was just full of smoke. It was pretty scary to think. I'm in a pretty safe zone because I'm in a pretty big township, so we should, like, this is a lot of people the places evacuate to. However, it's still pretty scary to say that, if I was to travel 25, 30 minutes, I wouldn't be able to get through because there's raging fires going everywhere. So that's pretty crazy. But New South Wales and Queensland have been the ones being affected most. We had fires start yesterday in another state. That's 4 states out of our 7 that are being affected by bushfires as I speak right now. So it's pretty close to my heart, and I would really love if people come. And if anything, I'm not forcing anyone to donate or anything like that. We can still come to Twitch, talk about NXT Takeover War Games, because I'm sure it will be a great show. So anyone that is free after NXT Takeover War Games, just head to my Twitter and you'll find out all the stuff. But it's pretty crazy. Those videos of those koalas going across there and they're all burnt and stuff, and it's pretty horrible to see. I hate seeing that kind of stuff, and obviously it's not like I can physically help. So if I can help in any way, this is my way to do it. And Kevin, you know how much I love my country that I live in, and I very much want to help any way I can. But I know that you guys have been seeing some of this stuff on like American news and stuff like that, which tells me that it's a pretty big deal. It's up there with some of the worst bushfires we've ever had in this country. So not a fun time at all.
No, man, it's awful. Prayers up, definitely, to anyone affected by the fires in Australia. I'm going to up the ante a little bit. In addition to donating myself, which I will be doing, maybe not Saturday night because I might not be watching War Games. I might not be there for the stream. I'll be donating, though, for sure. And then after I'll do this. After Survivor Series on Sunday, I'll go live on Periscope with the link in the tweet to the Red Cross Australia, and I will raise money as well.
Look at you go. You are just a superstar, dude. So hey guys, if you head to my Twitter right now, I have 3 links at the bottom of it's my pinned tweet. You just go right to the bottom of the thread. You'll find 3 links to the PayPal page, the Red Cross Australia, or the Port Macquarie Koala Hospital GoFundMe page, and you can donate to any of those. And then after Survivor Series, I will be dividing the money up equally between the two, so the equal amounts go to Red Cross and Port Macquarie. I'll post it on Twitter so you see. Obviously, I'm not going to do anything myself with that money. I ain't that type of person. But I will be making sure it's very transparent so you'll see where this money is going. But join Kevin after Survivor Series, and he will go on Periscope and be like, yo, let's talk about Survivor Series, and he'll have the donation page right under there wherever you need to see it if you want to donate and help out. Like I said, if I raise $1, I'm happy. I just want to help any way I can. It's devastating, and please make sure to join me after War Games, and we'll chat all the War Games shiz and is that we need to, and we'll raise some money and have a lot of fun. So let's do that. But on that note, we'll see you. Well, if you're going to come to the Twitch stream on after War Games, or if you're going to join Kev after Survivor Series, we'll chat then. If not, listen to us next Friday on Wrestling Reverb, and listen to me next Tuesday on the Josh Robinson Show. Yeah, that's about it. We'll be all over Twitter, all over the weekend for this wonderful weekend of wrestling. We hope you enjoy it. Please make sure to just soak this in, because I don't think we're going to get some NXT stuff going on with Raw and SmackDown probably for a little while again. So let's have fun with that, and yeah, enjoy everything like that. Anything you want to add, Kevin?
Not really.
Cool, awesome. So we'll see you next week on Wrestling Reverb.
I was just gonna say we didn't go off the rails this week, and part of me is like, oh, good, we're getting more professional at this, and part of me is like, well, shit.
Are we growing up, Kev?
Maybe.
Don't worry, we've had a professional week. That means next week will probably be... We had something to talk about this week, in the sense of we had like a structure because we had to hit some points for Survivor Series, so maybe that's why. Next week we probably won't have that.
No, and we'll definitely be talking about the chocolate bar I just ate, and my Spotify playlists and all that good shit.
Yeah, cool. I look forward to hearing about your Spotify playlist next week. It's now in my brain. Let's talk about that next week.
On the budget.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good one, and peace out.